Hello and welcome back to Exeter City, where we've got a championship final two-game showdown. It's ourselves versus Sheffield United for that final automatic spot. I'll get you caught up. It would be a little bit more of a showdown if we hadn't just lost to QPR 3-0. But since we last met the 4-0 and 2-0 against Cardiff and Barnsley, we did follow up by only drawing against Sheffield Wednesday, who are in the mire. They had a man sent off. Very embarrassing. Bristol City continue to be a thorn in our side, but then 5 straight victories put us within touching distance of that second place, and then QPR happened. But it is worth saying, the 0-0 against Sheffield Wednesday was a deserved result. The 2-1 loss to Bristol, however, should have been a 2-1 win for us, and the 3-0 loss to QPR should have at most been a 1-1 draw. Just to briefly touch on youth intake before we get into the swing of things. This is the only 5-star potential player we have through. I'm not really considering 4-star potential as being a good prospect at this stage, just because 4-star compared to our squad barely means championship. But a 5-star, being marked against Sonny Perkins, who is obviously the best player in our squad right now, he might be good. I love the disparity between his 4-letter first name and double-barrel surname, and the fact the first half of that is Johnston, which is a nightmare to say in the middle of a name. Why can't he just mean Johnson, Garside? That's easy to say, Johnston, Garside. I'm going to get that wrong. Following the general trend of youth players in this year's game, he has pace, but he doesn't have endurance. You can have one or the other or neither. You can't have both. I don't think I've seen a youth player in this year's game that has acceleration, pace, stamina, and work rate. All 4 of them. I've never seen a player with all 4 of those yet. But he's 5'8". He is a winger. He is right-footed. I need to train him on the other side. But that run of fixtures, had we beaten QPR, we would have been level with Sheffield United. They have a much better goal difference just because they recently beat Sheffield Wednesday 7-0. Can't imagine that went down well in one half of Sheffield, but went down very well in the other. Fascinatingly though, 2 games to the end, no one is confirmed relegated. It is going to be 3 from 4 because Millwall basically fine now, 5 points clear. We of course play right now the one in the driving seat outside of those 3, Preston. We know how this one goes, but Che Dunkley and Sonny Perkins, the first and third best player in this division. Barnsley's Matheson the second, they are currently mid-table. And before we get into this proper, I do want to just reiterate the scale of what we've done here. We are predicted 23rd, Blackpool have actually separated off into definite 24th now, but we are predicted 23rd, which is fun when you consider the salaries. You can't see it behind my head. We are spending 3.31 million per year, which is just over half of what Blackpool do. We also apparently made money. I don't know how we made money. I feel like the transfer spend is wrong because we definitely spent 1.5 million on Fernandez. Might not have been all up front, which might have been the reason for that though. And about 10% of what Southampton do at the top, who did obviously make a ton of money by selling a ton of players. QPR though, on form at the moment, so clearly played them at a bad time. But the one I want to draw your attention to is chances created. We are second in chances created. We are 4th on shots on target. Our expected goals for is 81. We were top of this until Sheffield United banked 7 past Sheffield Wednesday. But clearly they created a lot in that game. And they do score 2 goals per game, do Sheffield United. We score 1.7 goals per game. 3 million per year. And we are second on goals. We've scored 75 goals from that 81 expected. So we are scoring less goals than we should, which is an odd thing to say when you're second in the goals scored. We should have 81. Lowest wage in the league. And final note, I just want to draw attention to the differing, and the final note is I just want to draw the differing trajectories of Victor Lindelof. Here, he is in the Championship with Southampton, not even in the playoffs. On my stream save at Hanover, he's at Barcelona, winning La Liga. I love Football Manager. Always forgot to put myself on the correct side again. But the lineup for Preston, we are at home. Fruit was in goal, Glody and Gonda at left back. Stubbs and Dunkley have decided they actually do like to play together now. Large part of the season, you may have noticed, they did have the dashed line between them. They're okay now. Key at right back, Morton in front of them because Jurgen Klopp keeps getting in touch with me about not playing him as a defensive midfielder. And I want to keep Klopp on my good side so I can loan players from him in the future. Norwood in the box-to-box. Perkins, minor change there. I made one of the CMs box-to-box. Jay Fernandez, the inside forward, and Beerith as the supportive pressing forward, the other minor change I have made. Norwood's performances don't necessarily mean a lot, but what it does mean is Perkins is the one that takes the initiative in those forward runs. As we saw last year, that can be quite effective. And the inverted wingbacks still make those sort of diagonal runs through the back line as well. So they're still attacking threats. The inside forwards are also attacking threats. And the one thing I have noticed is this is actually getting those inside forwards in more. Fernandez has scored recently, Matt Jay scored recently, Tom Ince has scored recently. It does appear to be getting those inside forwards in that little bit more. And Berith's been scoring as well, despite the fact he's on supportive duty. The back line, 7.72 average for the last 5 for Josh Key, 7.6 for Che Dunkley, 7.4 for the last 5 for Tyler Morton. As a halfback, minor reminder, 9 tackling. A win does not put us in automatic promotion no matter what. The match talk just told me there. Sheffield United have 10 better goal difference than we do. So unless they lose 5-0 and we win 5-0, we are not going to be in that spot today. And in fact, they probably still have scored more goals than us, even with those. So we would need to have an 11-goal swing in these final 2 games to usurp them off a 1 win and 1 loss, respectively. But that does require us to win in the first place. Here is a throw-in, and he's not gone long with this, so that's Perkins. Good work there. Preston in a sort of inverted Norwich kit here. But Fernandez, as I just said, the inside forwards seem to be getting in that little bit more. West Brom have scored in their game and gone third, but we've just scored, so we will get that back again. Perkins to Ngonda, backwards to Morton. Perkins is there. And Fernandez is just there to pop it in. And it is the one thing I've noticed from this. You just saw there, Berith, Jay and Fernandez on their 3 defenders. Key's going to attempt a long throw here. I don't know how successful it's going to be. I'm going to abandon the long throws going forward. Key, Morton, Berith. Back to Morton, I think there was, although we didn't see who it was. Perkins. Ngonda's in space. He should have scored, actually. That side of the goal was open for him. But we scored 1 goal for 1 XG, despite the fact we've had 12 shots. Only 3 of them being on target. Matt Jay's been very disappointing lately. For the most part, he's been popping in 6.3, 6.4, 6.5ers. Even when we've been winning, he's consistently been the one lagging behind in the ratings, along with Norwood, as you may have noticed from the average ratings pre-match. But Key in was to Berith. 64 minutes on the clock. 20 minutes of the second half has gone without really any notice. Jay has definitely been fouled there. He'll take the penalty as our best penalty taker. And that's the other thing. When he has got a 7 rating, it's been because he scored a penalty. There we are. That's number 12 for him for the season. Pops that in. Goalkeeper goes the right way, but it's a better penalty than it is a save. Preston very much being pinned into their own half. Looking at their average positions. Morton's been shown a yellow card. Oh no, that 9 tackling has finally come back to bite him. Ball's popped it. Oh, set pieces. Norwood's flirting with a 7 rating. Wait, it was disallowed, Jay. We've not scored a direct free kick all year, and that's going to continue. Right. Ngonda is going to come off for Anderson Arroyo. Morton is going to come off for Fuad Sule. Just preserve Perkins with Archie Collins. Triple substitution. We should be 3-0 up here, and we're not. Given away, but thankfully Nelson's just hoofed that directly at Stubbs. Not quite sure what his intention was with that. Key has broken through their back line. You see what I mean about the inverted wingbacks. They're still doing the inverted wingback things, but Key can't finish. 3.75 was the XG. We scored 2 goals. It's interesting because our conversion rate is actually 11%. It's one of the highest. But it's 3 points and 2 goals to us, so unless Sheffield United now lose 7-0, we're not going to be within touching distance. Oh, they've drawn. They've drawn with Watford. I did notice they did have a tough game in their run-in. Watford was that tough game. They did have Wigan in their run-in, but they did beat them as well. So that's it for the final day then. It's still 3 from 4 at the bottom, as none of them won. And the playoffs have been decided. Or at least who's not in the playoffs has been decided. Who takes third is still a question. Because it could be West Brom, it could be us, it could be Sheffield United. Second, third and fourth, still to be decided. But we have to hope that Sheffield United slip up again as we take on Phil Neville's Stoke. Oh yeah, I forgot to find them after that QPR loss. That's come through now. Fernandez is 5 goals away from 10 league goals, which would trigger a clause. In a weird way, I'm glad he's not scored 10 goals yet. Perkins and Berith. I was concerned about Perkins, that's why I took him off. Berith is constantly jaded, so I can't really do anything about that. And we've only got 1 game left anyway. He got an 8.3 without any goals or assists, but he did complete 73 passes and had 4 key passes. Well, they're all key passes. Obviously. Oh, that's going to hurt. Derby relegated by Nottingham Forest, although they're not actually relegated. If they were to win and Coventry and Sheffield Wednesday and Preston lose, they're not down. I mean, Preston, it would require a 5-goal swing, but they're not down. The remainder of the youth candidates are not good. Is it a case of who plays who on the final day? Coventry play Preston. They can't all lose. There's no way a team doesn't end on 37 points. That's unfortunate. Just to bring this back to your attention, but Derby were the highest rated of the 3 promoted teams last year, and they are bottom of the table. Also, they're being managed by Thomas Frank, the current Brentford manager, so he's going to be in League One next year. Oh, that's awkward. So Josh Key's out for the final game and playoffs if they happen. Not good news, because Navarro has fallen off the cliff physically. He's also retiring at the end of the year. Sully's after the end of the year, $4,000 they're paying him. Love their badge. So I'm actually going to play Anderson Arroyo at right back. Obviously, he's an actual inverted wing back. He is left-footed. And with Navarro's physical decline lately, I think that might be sensible. Otherwise, the team is going to be unchanged. Cardallo in goal for Stoke City. Goodmanson of Burnley currently. Sutar's still there. Of course, they signed Joshua Zirkzee. I'd forgotten about that. How is he not good enough to start for them? I really wanted Zirkzee, and he would have started for me. Now, there's a couple of players going walkabout from the walkout. I don't know why they do that. I had 2 of them do it this time. But of course, in our away kit currently, the black and pink, to deal with Stoke's red and white. Fernandez on the ball, finds Perkins run through, and having one central midfielder attack, I find they do find that run better now. I think when there's 2 of them, there's a little bit of confusion who should go. Morton, deep free kick. Beerith does not get under that, but goes back to Morton anyway, and this could be more beneficial actually. Fernandez, if he stayed onside, it is a sensational. He's got his arms up, he's onside. It's a sensational play from Fernandez there. 4 goals, so we have to pay money. Please don't score 4 more goals in this game, Fernandez. But I love this pass and go. Absolutely mugs their left back off, I presume that to be. Goodmanson, not their left back. That explains things. He doesn't know what he's doing. Goodmanson, he's onside. He's actually more onside than he looked because of someone in the middle. But 1-0. 6 minutes in. We've taken the initiative here. Everyone on my team is offside right now. I do not know why this is being regarded at all. Dear football manager, can we please stop that happening as well? No one would ever take a free kick knowing that their entire team is offside. But Arroyo, on this right-hand side. Norwood finds Beerith, who has been tackled, but it's back to Fernandez. He's been fouled. He hasn't been fouled, but it's gone back to Arroyo anyway. Perkins, Norwood, Beerith. Lovely passing play. Stubbs, forward to Ngonda again. I do wonder if Dunkley still has 100% tackling. I haven't checked. Ngonda, Stubbs, Morton, Norwood. A lot of passing going on right now. Ngonda again. Finds Matt J. Not going to get it, but Ngonda's going to go for goal and goes near side and somehow misses the target entirely. We've had 1 XG in these first 20 minutes alone. Promising. Derby are beating West Brom as well. West Brom are 4th. Oh, that's agonising. The fact that 2 of the teams above them are playing each other. They'd stay up if it wasn't for that. If they'd been playing anyone else and lost those games, QPR beating Sheffield United. QPR beat us. I didn't realise QPR were Sheffield United's opponents. I wasn't looking at that. I should have looked at who Sheffield United were playing. Oh, that should have been another goal from Fernandez. QPR are winning, and we're winning. A draw for us isn't enough. We need to win. Okay, we go into half-time. Concerned that Stoke haven't really done anything, because I know how this goes. I've given that team talk all I can get. Okay, Davis, who's that forward to Wesley Moraes? Gil Diaz on this right-hand side. He's got a lot of space. I'm not liking Goodmanson's openness on this side either. Thankfully, Gil Diaz just smacks it from there. Straight out Fruital as well. Okay, so QPR winning 3-0 against Sheffield United. A scoreline. Oh, God. Oh, God. Is it counting? I think it's counting. There was so much carnage in there, I wasn't sure if anyone was ever going to be called offside. Why do they not move off the posts? Ngonda's just a spectator there. Concerned that Stoke haven't really done anything, because I know how this goes. Oh, that puts us... I mean, the XG on that was effectively 1 by itself. We've got a highlight. Matt J is in here, although he's decided to go wide. I don't really know why. Goes all the way back to Ngonda. Perkins, he could have gone in and goal quite easily. Arroyo's going to smack it from distance, I can tell that. Yeah, Morton. Thankfully, it still stayed in our possession. Jay's in this time, and he's... Oh! Beautiful finish. Beautiful finish from Matt J. I slayed him for being the worst performer recently. Scores when it matters. Yeah, I knew Arroyo was going to go for it there. I'm so thankful for Micah Beerith. That is the most supportive he's been all year. Support duty. Supported that goal wonderfully. Matt J. Wonderful finish. We've had 22 shots. 22. Stoke, of course, nothing to play for right now. Worth reminding. So, naturally. Go on. Surely Stoke don't want another... I might do we're red and white as well, thinking about it. We're sort of more red, white and black. He's behind the cross. What are we doing, team? Just come on as well. Why is nobody... Like, what are you doing, Norwood? And what are you doing, Stubbs, as well? A draw isn't enough. Concerned that Stoke haven't really done anything. Because I know how this goes. Okay, free kick from the corner. Matt J pops it in. Perkins is tired. Do I take him off? No. Arroyo is absolutely knackered, actually. Navarro is going to have to come on. Actually, oh God, there's like 1 minute of injury time left. Oh, one other thing I did actually bring the engagement line all the way up. Do we have our tall people in positions to capitalise? Beerith, oh, he's headed it over. That's not what we want to see. Now, what I want to see here is their goalkeeper hoof it up the pitch and get it straight to us. Carl, do me a favour. You've got nothing to play for in this game. Hoof it straight up this pitch. Dunkley get under it. Why have you headed it to them? It's fine. Stoppers will get this. Oh, Dunkley will get it, actually. Stoppers should have got it. Forward. Forward, players. Forward. Not to... Well, that sort of worked, actually. What are you doing that for, Matt? Beerith was never going to get to that. I mean, the XG, 3-2. I really do. Literally nothing to play for Stoke. I mean, there would have been 16th with a draw. They would have been 16th with a loss, but... Well, the good news is we've drawn Watford, who we did take 4 points off. We drew with them away from home and beat them at home. So, in theory... So, of course, I'll just be continuing straight on and recording those straight away. But, for you guys, I will upload those playoffs at the weekend. Whether we get to the final or not, it will just be one episode at the weekend. I'll see you for those. Like, comment, subscribe if you've enjoyed this journey so far. You're getting one more episode at least for this season. Ciao.